Okay. Well, I'll call this meeting of the airport committee together to order. We'll have a roll call. I know, Doug Brainerd is going to be absent.
Rod Billingsley,
Present.
Rod Billingsley,
Present.
hello.
Can you guys hear Rebecca?
Okay, I'm gonna call, do roll call.
Okay.
Rod Billingsley,
Here. He's here.
William Brainerd,
Johnson.
Bob Witters,
Present.
Carrie Lane,
Present.
Counselor Montoya,
Present.
Arnold Lopez,
Present.
Daniel Goulet,
Present.
John Aragon,
Present.
Jane Lucero.
Hi, I'm here via Zoom. Sorry.
Thank you. We're glad.
Thank you.
We really are. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. After Daniel and I worked on that, I thought I had picked up everything, but I know that we had discussed the budget, and we do have an updated budget numbers. So I'd like to add that as item 7 on the agenda's budget discussion. With that change, are there any other changes? Hearing none, I accept the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved as amended. Second.
Motion carried. Next item is approval of the minutes. Gentlemen, the minutes were emailed to you. Have we got any additions? Deletions or corrections? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Motion approved.
Oh, no, I'm second that.
Okay, motion. And a second. I'd say, given that there's only 3 of us here, that motion will carry. Next item on the agenda is, time for public comments. I know we don't have any members of the public present, but if there's any online, I'd open it for public comment. Hearing none, we'll proceed to new business. Does anyone have any new business that they would like to present at this meeting? Okay, there's no new business. So that brings us to item 7, discussion items. First one, follow up on the bottom hanger of electrical. Is the electrical off on the bottom hanger?
It is not. We're not going to move forward with pulling the power off of that building until the city decides what we're going to do with it. We still have some stuff that we need to take care of, so that's going to be on hold.
Well, I thought it was unsafe.
It is, and hence there shouldn't be anybody in there, and there's no real risk of the power being on it. There's nobody in there.
Well, there's a risk of fire. There's certainly a risk of fire.
there is a risk of fire, I suppose, Ron, but it's been there for a while, and right now we're still working and trying to get some of the other stuff taken care of.
Here, Rod, so I can add to that, if I mean,
Yes, sir.
so, as you all know, we've got a new city, manager.
Yes, sir.
Well, so, and his schedule is really busy. I've been trying to get him out to the airport and, we've had some time schedules and, it didn't come through. But, in respect to his position and conversations that need to be had in regards to that hangar, we need to talk to upper management in regards to which way do we go? Do we want to remodel it? Do we want to demo it? But there's a lot of unanswered questions still as to what approach we're going to take on that specific hangar. So at this point, we don't want to, react and then we make a bad call. Because again, it's up to upper management and their decision how we want to move forward with that hangar. And then also, we're going to reach out to historical preservation too to make sure that it's not considered or it's not on any historical preservation calendar, what do you call it?
It's not on the registry.
Yeah, the registry, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. So there's a lot still there before we could just move forward in making a rash decision to let's just do this and let's do that and then it backfire on this. So, yes, it was condemned, but it's only condemned to the usage of storing of planes and stuff like that at this point. And it's not in any real danger of it like falling. There's no sign of it starting to collapse or anything like that. It's just the fact that it's old and it's in dire need of either repair or whatever's selected to be done to it.
Well, I'm sure you know that I was in favor of remodeling that old hangar. And I guess I understood at the time that the decision had been made that it was essentially would not be there would not be funds available to remodel it. His law. What's changed?
Well, that discussion never has taken place with upper management. As far as if there's money that in general, is there, a grant that we could apply for? There's other sources that we can reach out to possibly. And I'm just saying, there's always a possibility that, they decide what this go for a possible grant to remodel or, I'm just saying that no discussion that I know of has been made. And I've been trying to get the manager out there to show him, the hangar and then see which route he recommends, or at least with his input and council, they decide, because it is significant building and stuff like that. And, it's a decision that I can't make to just do this and do that without their approval. And it'll probably, I would think that we might end up if I put it as an agenda item in a council meeting for approval to either demolish or whichever way we're going to go.
Well, I've always felt like it was a historical structure. It's the only remaining evidence of the Navy base that was here during World War II. And I would, and I do believe that the hangar itself, the back part of the building is in terrible condition. I think it needs to be raised. But I think the hangar portion itself should be salvaged. That's been my opinion for years. I guess I think we need to do something. But either, and I'll shut up and you give these guys a chance to say something, whatever you think.
You can ask, again, that's why my argument is that I need to get the city manager out there and at least show him he hasn't had the opportunity to visit the airport at all. And get him out there and start that discussion and see what approach is. Do we want to get an architect in there and he can give us, a cost estimate as to what it would take to restore it and be able to utilize it again, put a new door and whatever I needed, and I personally think that part of the structure isn't that. Does it need work? Of course, yeah, it needs roofing, it needs windows, it needs, a new door and other things, but again, I'm not an architect and we would probably call in an expert like that, again. But that's it, I know our safety, personnel out there and they assess it. But the architect, they don't have an architect background, so we would have been a professional to look at it and advise us to what would it take to restore it, first of all. If that's the route that they want to take, but yeah, there's a lot of options to consider still at this point.
It is a pretty building when you're inside. The roof and stuff, but yeah, the door, when I was in it, the doors, yeah, falling off again. But the inside of the building is really cool and pretty big. And the electrical, I didn't work because I wired the doors and put stuff back. And when I did that, I cut all the top wiring. It was the street. And I just enabled it, so there can't be anything. Which is the safety hazard. In my opinion, I didn't want to get into with that cloth wiring. So I cut all that cloth wiring. And so that's not interconnected, but the safety part, the electrical is the very back part, has an open box. It's not covered. So I think that was the biggest safety issue, I think.
And in the back, there's 3 Ks right there.
There's 3.
I have a couple of quick comments. Arnold, is it officially condemned?
It is officially condemned by in-house source, yes.
Oh, is there a sticker, notice, whatever, placard on it? So
Can you put anything up there, Tom?
And does somebody go in from time to time to make sure nobody's camping out in there or anything like that? I don't, it's pretty isolated.
We always get the building, but
You know, wish somebody was out there,
yeah. I'm not do a room inspection when I'm supposed to be in there, but rods up there off in the knob, it's fenced, it's gated.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I know there is other security around there. A lot of times the way to kickstart gets with like the city manager, and then eventually it could go to the council. They're gonna want to know a recommendation. And I'm sure the city manager will create his own, but do we have a recommendation as to what ought to happen to that building? I heard yours. Yes, sir.
go ahead and finish.
I'm done.
So my understanding, there has to be an inspection done by the fire department on the building.
By fire and safety, yeah.
And they have shut it down.
They've shut it. Yes.
And we have no airplanes or anything in there, not really the fire truck.
Just the fire trucks in there.
And that's, we're planning on removing that sometimes.
Bannon is working on it, that's what it tells me.
So I think, I think first step is we need to find out if it's got asbestos on that building. Somehow. And then we need to find out what the demolition costs would be. If that would be the direction of Mayor Council. And then we also need to find out if it has any tie-ins to any kind of preservation of historical preservation, which I don't think it's registered at all. But because the cost of remodeling it is, like, I don't want to say it's outrageous. You probably be able to make a new building, the new building that are remodeling.
As is, how many airplanes can it hold? Just from a square footage standpoint.
That's a pretty vague question, what kind of airplanes? I mean, because
I know.
one could hold 5, it could hold, 5 people in it, I would be pushing it.
Okay, 5 single.
I would say 4 is sitting above max.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking, more than 4 myself. Yeah, 4 years,
That smaller, which
5 years size. About the same. Oh, yeah.
Sure, Montreal, if I may, although when you're out, what I informed the committee was that, I've been trying to get the city manager out there to show him, you know, their work in general, and also to talk about the hangar. And my approach is gonna be, you know, after showing some and communication with him, is to, and depending on his direction, how he wants to go, is to put it probably as an item agenda. And then the mayor and council, decide as to which way we want to go. Do we want to give direction to possibly, you know, remediate it from, lead things and asbestos? Get an architect to look at it, or which direction you all want to take. At this point, you know, and I don't feel like moving forward right now with, you know, disconnecting electrical or anything like that at this point. So we find out from mayor and council and through the city manager as to what route we want to take.
Hey, Danny, this is Jane. I'm sorry for interrupting. Hi. But just a suggestion, you know, since Molson's not here, I can put work on him. We're currently doing an airport master plan, action plan, ALP update. And I know that's kind of further down on your, or actually it wasn't even on the agenda. But why can't we ask Molson Corbin to include this hangar in that action plan update? And that way you're going to have an architect recommendation that can make a recommendation to the city council. Just a thought.
Sounds like a suggestion.
Yeah.
Or a suggestion. Yeah. I mean, that we currently have a grant right now for an action plan ALP update. And, you know, this is an existing building on the property. And, you know, we can talk to Molson about maybe doing a little more inventory on that building, quote unquote. And that way, you know, the city can have this is what it is and answer all the questions about it. Then you can move forward with the decision from there. Just a thought.
I think everybody here is nodding their head, so thank you, Jane. I guess basically, maybe we would, I would entertain a motion to just, advise the council that we would like to, encourage the city to include, an evaluation of that lower hangar as part of the action plan, and ask, because that's money that the city's gonna have to approve for Molson Corp. So I guess we could at least make that suggestion to the council. Would that be appropriate? I don't see why not.
Yeah, that would give us, information to take to mayor and council when we do get that evaluation. Because of course, you know, they want to know conditions and they want to know, you know, different options too. But I think that's a great idea. Forward that way.
At least explore what the cost would be, as part of the action plan, because those, you know, I don't know what the existence of the contract we have with Molson Corbin, what all that included, but there would probably need to be some extra work on their part, to do this evaluation, and that would increase the cost.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have to assign him with that task, first of all, and then I'm sure it'll add some cost to it. But, do you have ones available down there for, if we had additional work to them?
That should be a big issue to get that done.
Well, I don't know why we can't just include it in the grant that we already have. We already have a grant. It's a FY23 FAA project. It's one of the bill funding, and the city, you guys are at 1% right now. So I don't know why we just can't talk to Provine about adding it already into that, because it's an ALP update with narrative.
Right.
Just tell him to do it within the cost that he already has listed. That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you, Jay. We'll move forward after.
I mean, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, yeah. Any other discussion on this item?
Not for me.
Okay, status of the crack pavement marking project, crack seal. Still waiting on the weather?
Yeah, so start date on that should be the 16th, or I thought it was the 12th. This next month,
May?
yeah, May 12th. So that's a scheduled date with all the work that they have, so they scheduled it in from the 12th, and that's weather depending, but it should happen within that time frame.
And how long of a project is it?
It just depends on whether the material already in place at that airport, so once they start building it, it shouldn't take long.
Yeah.
It should be like a project like that.
Is this on the runways?
It's gonna be taxiway and the ramp,
That's good.
yeah, so
So it'll, well, I mean, it's still.
it is gonna affect, you guys, but we will.
Well, like close things, so those people.
I'm hoping not to close the airport at all. We're hoping to do it in stages to where we can get somewhere. But there may be some days that, you know, if you're planning on flying, you're gonna have to coordinate with me. So that we can get your plane out, because obviously the ramp area is gonna have to be broken off. I can't do the whole ramp and then charge you guys for 24 hours. So I'm gonna try to do it in sections, so there may be a time where you guys, if you're planning on flying, you may have to put yourself out on the ramp on the opposite side so that you don't get your plane off there. Yeah, but there's no way around it.
Will you let us know the schedule or something soon? So, great, thanks. And crack seal is really dependent on temperature. For them to do crack seal, it has to be within a certain. So, and May could still be kind of cold as well. So, on the day to achieve those temperatures, it should be good to go.
The pavement markings, I know are also temperature dependent, but do you guys know if that's a 1 or 2 application marking?
I believe it was a single application. So,
Well, that should minimize the schedule impact. That means basically once the crack seal is done, they can stripe it. They do
we're
that.
doing that surface seal, that's really the part that's gonna be the issue on the ramp is the surface sealing on the press. So the surface seal needs to cure for 24 hours,
But,
so.
but we should be able, with the notice, we can move our planes either whatever side.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. We've done it before. I mean, it's, you know, I'll give you guys a call when they're planning to do the north side of the ramp, which is the one that's gonna affect the taxiways to you guys. You know, pull you guys out, tie you off on the south side of the ramp for a day, maybe a day and a half, just to make sure that stuff is set. You know, the painting's not a big deal. That's set within minutes realistically. You know, so once the surface seal's done, it's not, and the crack seals, that's really not an
Yeah,
issue.
it's not.
It's just the surface seal that they're telling me is a 24-hour, they would like a 24-hour queue. So that is the only one that's gonna affect you guys.
And then for fuel, fuel won't be available for a 24-hour period.
Not when we're doing that section, nothing I can do about that. We are gonna lose the compass roads in that process, but I will get with Brainerd and, his wife and see if we can get it repainted. I'm gonna see if the guys that are doing the surface seal will, tack the points so that all they're gonna do is go in and repaint it. I got money in the maintenance grant to get the paint for them again, so that's not a big issue, but the guys that gonna try to surface seal around that.
Any other discussion on this item? Moving on, lighting and signage project. You still waiting on the materials?
We've got a PO for them. Yeah, materials. They always have an excuse anymore for any of that stuff. We got a PO on April 12th for them to order, the sign and move forward with that. But a lot of that stuff's gonna be back ordered, so we do not have a estimated date on any of this or start date on that until they get all the signs and all what they're looking at. But
Well, it just, I mean, I know there's materials backlog, but normally when you place an order, you at least get an idea, John.
this is true, but I didn't place the order electric portion, and they said they hadn't gotten the date back, so. I'm not the one that ordered.
So I understand that maybe we can get something electric portion when they hear.
Yeah, and even at that, that's only gonna be when they receive the sign, that's not gonna be their scheduled date to start. They still gotta schedule around their existing projects to go up there, so. Until the material, then we're not gonna get a start date. What I'm saying.
Okay. Well, our next meeting is 3 months, maybe before the next meeting, you can just ask them if they've got an anticipated they can see.
Okay.
Good.
And how long is that project? Once they get it?
I couldn't tell you that. I have no idea what they're looking at doing, and how fast they'll move. They gotta replace all the signs on the airport, so I don't, just depends on them, I guess.
And there's no trenching of new electric or something like that. They're gonna use the existing lines that are gonna put.
And all of the existing, service or the sign, the electrical service to the signs now, or you're not having any issues.
As far as I don't know.
So all the signs light up. And
Yeah, they should be just a remove and replace, that's what the project is. So,
do they have to pour new bases for that?
no, they're just removing the sign and replacing it, that's it.
But what's wrong? I don't play at night, so I'm never out there. Why was it changed? What's new about it? Just curious.
And they're just old, faded, and realistically, I mean, everybody's going to alley, so that's what we're doing. We're starting to go to alley. Those times they probably, one runway is over 20, more like 24 years actually, and the other one's about 22 years. So they're just, some of them are about repair, county.
And they don't meet current FAA standards.
Okay.
There's FAA's always changing the rules. So. And
Fact that the LEDs are energy efficient.
Yeah.
any other discussion? Moving on. Antenna lease. I understand that was signed and.
Yes, sir. It's all signed and executed. Apparently we reached out to them, to see where the payment was. The last communication, they had a PO, so we got an invoice, prepared for them. Send them the invoice. We just verified yesterday that, payment has been made. And, our finance director has been up the last couple of days, so he might already have payment for the time. Which will be positive to be a report.
You know how much that was?
They pay for 1 year, which is $7,000. We increased it, we about to increase it from, I think it was $1,200 annually to $7,000.
Okay, and they already paid the back rent?
Yes, sir. The back rent was paid, everything that was beneath it was paid. Prior to once we discovered that they were beneath it all those years and we reached out to them. They did make payment on the frequency that's been received by the city. should have been deposited to that budget to get. And, so that's been, returned to the airport budget.
What fund is that going into? It's going into one board. Into one for is what? It's the airport documents, rental.
Fuel sales are in that, correct?
It's in the one for as well.
Yeah, 104 has, rental income, hangar rental, fuel sale.
And according to them, the negotiations with them, because we negotiated to that amount. Then, once it went higher up on their end, they kind of weren't happy going that high. And, but we stuck to that and they finally agreed to it. But just so you know, and they stated that, with all the government entities that they have, towers on, we're the highest paid tower. According to them.
You know, there may be towers, they may have towers that have more antennas on them than ours, but I don't think there's many. If you look at how many antennas are, but anyway.
So the final agreement was a fixed fee of 7,000 per year. Because I know at one point we had talked about a possible approach being, them paying us a percentage of what they're getting. And if more antennas went on there, we would get more. That didn't happen.
From what I understand, I don't think they make a profit off of them. They are. It's all used for communications, from what I understand. Okay. For emergency respond and stuff like that.
Those cell phone towers aren't. There's cell phone,
There's no cell phone towers on that.
those aren't cell phone.
All communication they say for.
And if it isn't for PD, I mean, it's emergency response. But it's not like T-Mobile or anything like that.
Any providers of that sort. From what I understand too. And I was under the same impression like you, Rob, that there was cell towers and businesses utilizing it for profit, and according to them, it's not.
Okay. Well, at least we, that's been a long road, but at least we're getting some money, so that's,
Yeah, and it's
I appreciate y'all working on that. I really do. Okay,
Thanks for saying that.
yes.
it was a challenge, but we got it.
It was not without some struggle, obviously. Yeah. Any other discussion? Bob, you getting that?
No.
Okay. Status of mowing equipment. We got a new tractor coming?
We got it coming, it's ordered. The attachments, deck and so forth are in the yard. We're waiting on the tractor. There's a lead time on that. He's hoping by the end of June. And then by the time we go through it and connect the attachments and all of that stuff, we're looking at hopefully the middle of July, no to end of July.
Well, good. Good. Can you use the old mower until that one's in service or?
The old mower is still not running. So we're gonna be do with the small mower that we did, last year for the end of the season, so.
And it's doing good.
Yeah, that one's fine. I mean,
It just takes longer, but
I can't open it up as much as I'd like, you know, but I mean, we're definitely meeting the safety criteria, which is the edge of the runway and the runway lights, reflectors, you know, I like it to be a little bit more open and just, it looks better. So,
So I guess that old tractor, we just gonna put up for auction or? is that-
we cannot put it up for auction because that's a state bought tractor. I am in the process of talking to Jane. Once we get the new tractor, we're probably gonna see about, figuring out how to kick it down to the street division so that they can get it fixed through their budget and utilize it if they need one.
Oh,
And so that's really what's the plan.
So we're kind of, just be courtesy here for utilization within the city for our own operation. And we will address any issues that's not wrong with it, mechanical or whatever it is.
If I actually borrow one from the city, but I guess not. That's-
Yeah, no, we can. We're working together, so we're trying to address both areas.
do you see a problem with that, Jane? As far as transferring that to? Oh,
Sorry, guys. I had someone come into my office. So, well, I'm sorry. What was the question?
well, we've got existing tractor and, shredder, that the airport's been using, to mow the, adjacent to runways. That machine's been around a long time and we're replacing it with a new tractor and mower. And I guess the question was, since the state, I guess, had funded the purchase of the old tractor, it's pretty much obsolete. Can they transfer it like to the streets department or?
Yeah, was that the one we purchased in 2000?
Yeah, it was the one we bought in 2010.
Yeah, it's reached the end of its useful life in our book. So if you want to transfer it to the streets department, we don't have an issue with it once you guys get the new tractor in.
Okay.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on the bill? Okay. Update on any new funding for the legislative session? That's, you got money in your pocket, Jay?
Well, this year, I mean, it was a short session, as you know. So the only funding we received was for our rural air service enhancement program. That's the program that you have to put an RFP out for air service to help get air service to communities. So that was the only funding we received. Last year, we did get an addition to our budget. Besides the 55 million, we got an addition of an extra $3 million each year. So we're not flush with money, but we do have money. I mean, we're able to meet our FAA match and stuff. So that's kind of really the update I have on funding. Any questions?
Gentlemen, any questions?
That's basically the rural.
It's air service for all like Roswell and Hobbs and,
But not, it's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna change here.
there's no discussion about any air service in Las Vegas. Is that correct?
Not that I've heard. Kind of the way it's been happening with it. So right now, this program is funding Gallup, Las Cruces. Let me think who else, because I know there's more. I know Taos is going after it. Angel Fire's looking at going after it. So it's really, when I say air service, it's a smaller under 10 passenger seat airline. So you could be, I mean, you could be eligible for it depending if you meet the population. But I don't know if there's a need there for it.
And,
It's essentially a subsidy for an airline.
and Jane, that does not include anything like medevac service.
Correct.
Or anything like that. This is just commercial airline service.
Yes, commercial airline service. Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. And I do have one more thing. Sorry. We actually have our annual aviation conference May 8th through 10th in Ruidoso. Last year we did this on Wednesday. We did this last year and we're doing it again this year. We're actually having an Airport 101, which is like the 30,000 foot level, everything on airport development and funding, ownership, organization, and staffing of airports, airport finance. It's a really, really good conference. And it's a lot of information in this one day. So, I'll send the stuff to Danny and John again, and hopefully you guys can join us because it's fun. And, well, you guys are in the mountains anyway, so I don't get to say it's beautiful Ruidoso because you guys live in beautiful Las Vegas.
And what is the date of that conference?
It's May 8th through 10th.
And what
So
is that one day Airport 101?
That is May 8th.
Okay,
We actually have a special rate for like you can just go the one day if you want for the Airport 101. So we have the Airport 101 on Wednesday, and then we have full conference sessions and everything Thursday, and then the airport managers meeting Friday.
okay.
That's,
What does it cost, Tony?
Oh, see, now you're asking me. Stand by. So early bird registration ends the 24th. The 1 day cost for the Airport 101 workshop is, if you're a member of the Airport Managers Association, it's $90. If you're a non-member, it's $125. And that includes, you know, a lunch and the reception that evening and breaks and all that stuff.
What time does it start at?
It starts at 9 a.m. A lot of people give me a hard time because I start conferences early because I'm an early bird, but so it goes from 9 to 5.
And that was Ruidoso, correct?
Ruidoso, correct, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see if we can send, maybe a couple of guys or maybe even myself could attend.
I think that'd be awesome.
Send us that information as soon as possible.
That would,
I will send it as soon as we get off this meeting. I'll send it to John and Danny.
awesome, appreciate it.
Of course.
well, I would say, for years, I've been a member of the Airport Managers Association. I think it's a good conference, and I'm sorry that John and you haven't been able to attend. I think it's worth your time. And of course, the city has to support that. Let's you talk to other airport people and, just, you learn a few things, just standing in the hallway drinking coffee, Anyway,
Definitely. Yeah, we're interested, so we'll definitely try to do that.
appreciate that. I think it'd be good for the city. Next item on the agenda, and this is the one that we had in budget. Bob, you said to me that you really wanted to take a deep dive into the budget, and I thought they provided certainly more paper. I'm not sure I understand all I'm reading, but you said you were kind of familiar with it, so I'll shut up. And you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, and is that updated information that you have, Ron? There,
Well, that's
or is
what,
that from the past? The reason I ask is I've done my format on the budget. And let me just tell you where I've kind of concluded. The budget, the way I believe the question was asked, what is the budget costing the city for the airport? And I've tried to put things together because it turns out that revenue comes from several sources. It turns out that expenses, if you're looking at the total expense of the airport, is in several other locations in the budget. And the numbers I've come up with is that right now it looks like revenue minus expenses for the airport for this fiscal year, which goes from last July to this coming June, is somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 negative. And what I have been able to come up with is the income is rental income for hangar space.
Excuse me, if I may, it's not an agenda, I get it all, is it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
They should have had it on.
And I think it's just a discussion item. No action.
Oh, sorry about that, I was just curious. Thank you.
So there's rental income, there's fuel sales income, and now I get to add the antenna, tower fees, into the revenue side. There's also, on the expense side of the airport budget are, personnel, payroll, and all the associated benefits that come with an employee. We have, on the expense side is the purchase of the fuel that we sell. We have credit card expenses since the fuel sales a lot of times are on a credit card basis. I don't have any maintenance information on. And then there's gross receipt taxes paid on fuel sales also. And when I add up income and when I add up expenses, I come up with, actually right now, my number is $54,000 minus.
Is that year to date? Is that what you're saying?
That is for the year, for the fiscal year. Right now, I only have the numbers through December of last year. So I only have the first two actuals. And that's minus $27,000. And I just doubled it to give you an estimate of what the full year, the full fiscal year might look like. And I need to update it, and I've gotten some updated information from finance, which I'll put in here. But I believe that if anybody wanted to know what the airport is costing the city of Las Vegas, it's $54,000 negative. Also, this analysis, and if you want a piece of paper, I'll give you a piece of paper. This analysis does not include any grant funds, because in addition to the operating funds and expenses, the airport gets grants. Right now, I'm showing that there's a grant for the purchase of a mower. There's the rehab of the taxiways, the reseal, etc., the taxiways and the parking area. The lighting and signage is another grant. That's the third grant. And then the fourth grant I'm showing is the master plan update, or I think it's official title is airport layout plan grant. And the numbers I gave you prior were not included in those grants. Those are handled separately and not included in the operation budget.
But the city generally is paying, I think, about 1%, at least on the federal grants. Is that 5%?
Have you got waivers for that? Do you know? Sometimes the match waiver, do you get them?
To speak on the match, the FAA pays 90% on their grants. The state covers 9% of the non-federal share. So the city's responsibility is 1% on federal grants.
That's what I thought, 1%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, I don't mean to interrupt you on your budget talk, but I think it's also important that we recognize the economic impact that the airport brings to the community. I mean, it's, on budget, there's only 2 airports in the state that are operating in the positive, and that's the Albuquerque Sunport and the Belen Airport, because the Belen has a agreement with the military operate there. So it's very common for every other airport to operate with a negative budget.
Yeah, and when I said the numbers, I I didn't want to imply whether that was a good or a bad number. But, I think at this point, the airport board just wanted to know what that number was.
Oh, okay.
And then we can go from there. Because it actually turned out a little hard to figure out. Because there's
Yeah.
three pieces of the budget all around the city operating budgets.
Right.
I still, I don't know about that $54,000 because like you said, John, and some of those contracts on the grants, the city ends up paying, from 0 to 10% on those grants, and that's what a monthly grants are for.
Yeah, and the 54,000 does not include
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
matching numbers on the grant.
It's a deceiving number. To say that that's the number that we put out for having an airport, minus 54,000. It's a lot more than that. But the other thing is, we don't have numbers of impact that it brings to the city of Las Vegas. We have no way of tracking that. I was asking you.
Right, yeah, so the last, we normally do at the state level, we do an economic impact as part of our system plan update. So the last one we did was in 2014, and I can send you the brochure, but we actually hire somebody that takes the primary and direct impacts along with the secondary impacts and produces the total economic impact. So I will send this to you. It was, once again, this was 2014. So our next system plan, we're going to be updated again, but I'll send you the brochure for the Las Vegas airport. That way you can see what we came up with.
You'll be sending it to you?
Yep, as soon as I get off the call. Because if I do it now, you're just going to see this side of my face.
But you'll send it to John?
I'll send it to John and Danny, and then they can get it out to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Well, I certainly, I believe the economic impacts are significant, and also the public safety impacts. We've had so many medevac operations the last 6 months. It blows my mind. Every time I'm up there, there's a medevac plane up there. So I know that from a public safety standpoint, it's a big thing besides the other economic impacts for the facility. But any other discussion on this, we'll look forward to what Jane sends out.
And UPS is there every day.
Yeah.
That sounds like a small number, but I'll be curious about the numbers on what they estimate. But yeah, like that seemed like a small number to pay for all the benefits.
We should stay away from this before we close. What's the situation with the internet service up at the airport?
So the last time I talked to Quest or whoever's the provider that they changed their name, they actually have a contractor up there digging up the lines in spots and fixing it. The internet service has gotten a lot better. It's at least consistent. We're not losing internet. It's a little slow still, but it has gotten substantially better.
Yeah, because I like to have a couple of meetings up there once a year. Just that, about the public and also the membership. I'm meeting out there with staff. Look what, conferences have been made.
What was the period you have there?
Is it West? Oops, that's not West anymore. It's, energy, sorry.
Yeah, is it fiber? You have fiber?
No, it's a T1 line, but it's on the copper.
What would my gauge is if I go to the National Weather Service and I go use the airport information, if it says, ain't got no data, I'm figuring your internet line is down. Is that how the Weather Service gets into this?
It's the same bundle, so
Yeah,
yeah, usually
okay.
when they're down, we're down.
Yeah.
That's not always the case, but
Pretty much,
it's
yes.
pretty consistent.
Okay. Just kind of on the utility up there, is there, go down and walk, big water line up there? Talk about it last time, I can't remember what it was, if you'd ever get water up there.
That's going to be put into the airport action plan for further discussion, is the way I've understood it, until we get some analysis from the engineer. What's not really going on, what
It's on a list somewhere to look at.
it is. I mean, it has been for the 25 years I've been there. It's just not something that.
We're not getting to the top.
It's also on the FEMA list. Yeah, being that, you have water up there, like for fire suppression and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're considering, possibly funding that as well.
Well, I won't concur with Councilman. I think it would be good if we could have a meeting out there. I understand that we have to have reliable internet service that's able to accommodate video capabilities. I assume that's the problem. It's just too slow. Is that?
That's it. Yes. But it's probably an option, I'm guessing. You can have the tower, their tower from there. That's something to look at. And
We would have to get with our IT guys and make sure that everything's good to go. Like John said, they're fixing the lines up right now. It was a real choppy when we tested it yesterday.
Right.
So that's the reason.
there's a gate goes in the house and it's into their park shop over there. If you don't, if it's how much you guys are, get that, the cost is probably about the same. But I've seen that it's not the cost of other things.
I think there's some complications with that. The city server. So that was, that's what the same, it's that looked like, that's not something that.
Right.
So,
It's just been it's been a problem for years. And if they're just patching the copper lines,
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
I suspect that,
Either you get fiber and
that's, but I know what, I know what, who we've been down that road before. But that said, anything else that we need to discuss before we can? Okay,
I move that we adjourn.
second.
you got a motion second? All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, gentlemen, for attending. Thank you, County.
Hi, guys. Thanks. Sorry I couldn't be there today.
We'll see you.
Sorry. Bye.